Hello, everyone. This is a quick podcast about an interesting website that has done some research into the costs of various airlines and how that affects their ability to break even. Remember, the idea is break even is cover the fixed and variable costs. So if you think of the fixed and variable cost of an airline flight, we used United last chapter, so this time we're going to look at maybe Southwest. Although if you go to this website, you can choose 4 different airlines. But the idea is there's a cost to fly this airplane, and they have used a simulation down at the bottom. They say that they have used a 216 passenger flight on a 1,000-mile route. So there's you got your kind of standard, you might say, flight that they're using, domestic flight here in the United States, and you got to get a certain amount. So there's a set costs for that airplane to get there. Fuel costs, labor costs for the pilot and the co-pilot, and flight attendants that are mandated by law. They cannot fly with fewer flight attendants just because there's fewer passengers. So there has to be the number of flight attendants mandated, usually by the number of exits in case there's an accident. But this allows you to, as you see, can change how many people are on the flight. So you see we're below break-even point at 54%. We started at 50. As we increase the number of people, obviously the costs are only changing slightly because you're going to have a little bit more food and a little more of those other incidentals, but most of the costs are the same, but you're getting more revenue as you add people to the flight until you get to break-even point, which is right around, for Southwest, just over 72% of the plane full, which is the lowest of the major airlines because of their cost structures. It shows down here. So at 72%, Southwest is breaking even. American, Delta, United have higher break-evens because they have higher fixed costs. So they have to have more people on the plane in order to break even. And then after that, the additional passengers added to the plane result in profit. As you can see, kind of the calculation of how much the profit increases as you add it. And so when you get to a full flight, which of course is the goal for everyone, then you're going to make on this flight just over, according to the calculations used for this, about 10 grand on the flight for each flight that goes 1,000 miles, again using an average revenue and the various costs that go into it. So again, this is using financial information, external, that you can get to approximate costs that they use in a managerial internal scenario where they would have a lot more detail. But they do publish some of this information in their annual report. You just have to dig through some of the details and descriptions. It's not found directly on the financial statements themselves. So just an interesting illustration of the process or the calculations that go into break even, in this case on a per flight basis for Southwest Airlines. So if you want to look at the others, you could go to the website provided and you can play around with the other airlines as well.